Hey there, English learners! Welcome back to the English Playbook. I'm David.
And I'm Sarah, and wow, do we have a lesson for you today.
We really do. Today's topic is something that literally everyone deals with at work, asking for more time when you can't meet a deadline.
Oh my goodness, this is so relevant. I was just in this situation last week. I had to ask my manager for an extension on the project report.
Really? How did it go?
Well, let's just say I wish I'd had this lesson before that conversation.
That's exactly why we're doing this episode. We're going to teach you the professional, polite phrases you need to ask for more time without sounding unprepared or making excuses.
And here's the thing, this isn't just about work. You can use these phrases in school, with clients, in business emails, even in everyday situations.
Absolutely. So whether you're a student, a professional, or just someone learning English for daily life, this lesson is packed with useful language.
Before we jump in, let me tell you what we're covering today. We have a realistic dialogue between an employee named Casey and her boss. Casey needs more time to finish a press kit.
And we'll break down all the key vocabulary, the essential phrases, and we'll even talk about the cultural aspects of asking for extensions in English-speaking workplaces.
Plus, we've got pronunciation tips, common mistakes to avoid, and real-life examples you can use immediately.
So grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's dive in.
Okay, so before we listen to the dialogue, let's set the scene. Casey works in the marketing department of a company.
She's been working on something called a press kit for over a month now, and she's running behind schedule.
Now, David, I'm going to stop you there because I want to explain what a press kit actually is. Many of our listeners might not be familiar with this term.
Great idea. Go ahead.
So, a press kit, sometimes called a media kit, is a package of promotional materials about a company or product. It's specifically designed for journalists, reporters, and media outlets.
Think of it as a ready-to-go information package, right?
Exactly. It typically includes things like high-quality photos of the company or product, the company logo in different formats, background information about the company, press releases, maybe some statistics or data, and contact information for key people.
So when a newspaper or magazine wants to write an article about the company, they don't have to dig around for information. They just use the press kit.
Precisely. It makes the journalist's job easier and ensures the company controls what information is shared about them.
That's brilliant. Now, in our dialogue, Casey has been responsible for creating this press kit, but she's encountered several problems.
And that's where our lesson really begins, how to communicate these problems professionally and ask for more time.
Let's listen to the dialogue now. Remember, we're going to play it at normal speed first, the way native speakers actually talk. Don't worry if you don't catch everything. We'll break it all down afterward.
Just try to get the general feeling of the conversation. Is the boss angry? Is Casey nervous? What's the overall mood?
All right, here we go.
So, Casey, how are things going with the photos for the press kit?
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. I might need to ask for an extension on that deadline.
You've had over a month to get this finalized. Why are things delayed?
Well, the thing is, we ran into a lot of problems.
I'm not looking for excuses here. I just want to get this finished on time.
I know, and I apologize for the delay, but some things were just beyond my control. I had trouble booking the photographer, and then Michael was sick for 3 weeks, so I couldn't include him in the photos. And the design team lost all the files, so I had to redo the pictures.
I'm not going to put this off any longer, Casey. I want those photos ASAP.
Ooh, that was tense.
Right? Casey is definitely in the hot seat. Her boss does not sound pleased at all.
Did you catch that tone in the boss's voice? You've had over a month to get this finalized. That's the sound of frustration.
Absolutely. And notice how Casey tries to explain her situation, but the boss cuts her off with, "I'm not looking for excuses here."
That's a really important phrase in professional English, by the way. We'll come back to that.
But here's what I want you to notice. Even though the boss is frustrated, Casey remains calm and professional. She doesn't get defensive or emotional.
Great observation. She uses phrases like, I apologize for the delay, and some things were just beyond my control. Very professional language.
And that's what we're going to teach you today, how to handle these difficult conversations with grace and professionalism.
Before we dive deep into the vocabulary and phrases, let's do a quick comprehension check. Sarah, what are the 3 problems Casey mentions?
Let me think. First, she had trouble booking the photographer. Second, Michael, probably a colleague, was sick for 3 weeks. And third, the design team lost all the files.
Perfect. So she had 3 legitimate obstacles that prevented her from finishing on time.
But the question is, will her boss accept these reasons, or does he think she's just making excuses?
We'll explore that later, but first, let's break down the vocabulary. All right, let's jump into our language takeaway section, where we explore the key vocabulary from this dialogue.
Our first word is deadline. Deadline, deadline, deadline.
This is such an important word in business English. A deadline is the last possible date or time by which something must be completed.
Let me give you some real-life examples. When I was in university, my professor would say, your essay is due on Friday at 5 p.m. That's the deadline, no late submissions.
Ooh, strict professor.
Very strict. But that's what a deadline is. It's the final cutoff point.
In business, deadlines are everywhere. The report deadline is March 15th. We need to meet the client deadline. The deadline for the project proposal is next Monday.
And here's something important. In English-speaking work cultures, deadlines are taken very seriously. Missing a deadline can damage your professional reputation.
That's so true, which brings us to our next word, extension.
Extension, extension, extension.
These 2 words, deadline and extension, go together like peanut butter and jelly.
That's a very American phrase, Sarah.
It is. What I mean is they're closely related. An extension is additional time beyond the original deadline.
So if your deadline is Friday, but you need until Monday, you're asking for a 3-day extension.
Exactly. Can I have an extension on this deadline? I need to request a 2-week extension. The professor granted me an extension until next month.
Now, here's a cultural note. In professional settings, you shouldn't ask for extensions lightly or frequently. It should be the exception, not the rule.
Absolutely. You need to have good reasons, which is what Casey is trying to explain in our dialogue. Speaking of Casey's explanations, she uses this phrase, we ran into a lot of problems. Let's break down ran into.
Ran into some problems. This is a phrasal verb and it's incredibly common in spoken English. When you run into something, you encounter it unexpectedly. You meet it by chance or accidentally.
Let's hear it in several different contexts. Example 1. We ran into a storm on our way home. You didn't plan to encounter a storm, it just happened.
Example 2. If you're not careful now, you're going to run into a lot of problems later. Here it means you'll encounter or face problems.
Example 3. I ran into some trouble with my computer. The trouble appeared unexpectedly.
Now, here's a really common mistake that English learners make. Many students say, I met some problems.
Yes, I hear this all the time from my students.
That's incorrect. We don't meet problems in English. We run into them, or we encounter them, or we face them.
So remember, I ran into some problems is correct. I met some problems is wrong.
Let me give you one more example to really cement this. Yesterday, I ran into an old friend at the supermarket. We didn't plan to meet. We just happened to be there at the same time.
Perfect example. You can run into people, problems, traffic, obstacles, difficulties, all sorts of things.
All right, our last vocabulary word for this section, delayed.
Delayed, delayed, delayed.
When something is delayed, it means it's late or behind schedule. It's not happening at the planned time.
The opposite of delayed is on time. Your flight can be delayed or on time. Your project can be delayed or on time. Your delivery can be delayed or on time.
Let me share a personal experience. Last month, I was flying to visit my family, and my flight was delayed by 4 hours because of bad weather.
Oh no, that's so frustrating.
It really was. But notice the language. My flight was delayed by 4 hours. We'd use the preposition by to indicate the amount of delay.
Great point. The meeting was delayed by 30 minutes. The project was delayed by 2 weeks. The shipment was delayed by a few days.
And in our dialogue, the boss asks Casey, why are things delayed? Meaning, why is the project behind schedule?
All right, those are our 4 key vocabulary words. Let's listen to the dialogue again, but this time we'll play it more slowly so you can catch all the details.
Here's the dialogue again. And this time, listen carefully for the vocabulary words we just discussed.
Try to identify deadline, extension, ran into, and delayed.
So, Casey, how are things going with the photos for the press kit?
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. I might need to ask for an extension on that deadline.
You've had over a month to get this finalized. Why are things delayed?
Well, the thing is, we ran into a lot of problems.
I'm not looking for excuses here. I just want to get this finished on time.
I know, and I apologize for the delay, but some things were just beyond my control. I had trouble booking the photographer, and then Michael was sick for 3 weeks, so I couldn't include him in the photos. And the design team lost all the files, so I had to redo the pictures.
I'm not going to put this off any longer, Casey. I want those photos ASAP.
Okay, now we're moving into my favorite part of the lesson, Fluency Builder. This is where we explore the phrases that will make you sound like a fluent English speaker.
These aren't just random phrases. These are expressions that native speakers use constantly in professional situations.
Our first phrase is one that Casey uses at the very beginning. I've been meaning to.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
This phrase is so useful. It means you've been intending or planning to do something for a while, but you haven't done it yet.
Let's break down the grammar quickly. I've been meaning to is present perfect continuous, which indicates an action that started in the past and continues to the present.
Right, but don't worry too much about the grammar terminology. Just learn the phrase as a chunk and use it naturally.
Let's hear it in multiple contexts. Example 1. I'm sorry I haven't called you yet. I've been meaning to, but I've been busy.
Example 2. I've been meaning to tell you, but John quit yesterday.
Example 3. I've been meaning to see that new movie for weeks, but I just haven't had time.
Example 4. I've been meaning to clean out my garage, but I keep putting it off.
Notice that this phrase often comes with an explanation or excuse for why you haven't done the thing yet.
Exactly. I've been meaning to call you, but I've been busy. I've been meaning to finish the report, but my computer crashed.
In Casey's case, she says, I've been meaning to talk to you about that, which is her way of acknowledging that she should have brought up this problem earlier.
It's actually quite a polite phrase because it shows awareness that you should have already done something.
Great analysis. Now our second essential phrase, beyond my control.
Beyond my control. It's beyond my control. It was beyond my control.
This is a crucial phrase for explaining why something went wrong without accepting full blame.
When something is beyond your control, it means you couldn't influence it. You couldn't prevent it. You had no power over it.
Casey uses this perfectly in the dialogue. Some things were just beyond my control.
Let me give you some workplace examples. The supplier's delay was beyond my control. The client's change of mind was beyond my control. The weather conditions were beyond my control.
This phrase is really useful because it explains a problem without sounding like you're making excuses or avoiding responsibility.
Exactly. You're being factual. You're saying, here are the circumstances, and I couldn't change them.
But there's an important cultural note here. In English-speaking work cultures, especially in the US and UK, there's a balance between explaining circumstances and taking responsibility.
That's so important. You can say something was beyond your control, but you should still show that you tried your best and acknowledge the impact on the project.
Yes, notice that Casey says, "I apologize for the delay," even though the problems weren't her fault. She's showing professionalism.
Perfect segue to our next phrase. Let's talk about put this off.
Put this off. Put something off. I'm putting it off.
This is another phrasal verb, and it means to postpone or delay something, usually something you don't want to do.
There's often a negative connotation with this phrase. It implies procrastination or avoiding something.
Let's hear it in context. Example 1. I've been putting this off for a week, and it's due tomorrow.
Example 2. Can we put off our meeting till next week? I'm too busy right now.
Example 3. I've been putting off my email all day, and now I have 50 messages to respond to.
Example 4. Stop putting off your homework. Just sit down and do it.
In the dialogue, the boss says, I'm not going to put this off any longer, Casey. I want those photos ASAP.
He's saying he's done waiting. He's done delaying. He wants this completed immediately.
And speaking of ASAP, that's an acronym that stands for as soon as possible.
It's pronounced as one word, ASAP. In very formal writing, you might spell it out. But in emails and conversation, we just say ASAP.
I need those documents ASAP. Please respond to this email ASAP. We need to schedule a meeting ASAP.
It indicates urgency. This is a priority. This needs to happen quickly.
Now, I want to add one more phrase that we heard in the dialogue. I'm not looking for excuses.
Oh, this is an important one. The boss says, I'm not looking for excuses here. I just want to get this finished on time.
When someone says they're not looking for excuses, they're essentially saying they don't want to hear reasons or explanations. They just want results.
It can sound a bit harsh, but it's actually quite common in high-pressure work situations.
The key here is that it signals the boss is frustrated and wants action, not words.
If someone says this to you at work, you need to pivot from explaining to proposing solutions.
Exactly. Instead of continuing to explain what went wrong, you should say something like, I understand. Here's my plan to complete this by specific date.
Great advice. All right, we've covered some amazing phrases. Let's take a quick breath and then listen to the dialogue one final time.
This is our final listen. By now, you should understand almost everything in this dialogue.
As you listen, think about how you would handle this situation.
What would you say if you were Casey?
So, Casey, how are things going with the photos for the press kit?
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. I might need to ask for an extension on that deadline.
You've had over a month to get this finalized. Why are things delayed?
Well, the thing is, we ran into a lot of problems.
I'm not looking for excuses here. I just want to get this finished on time.
I know, and I apologize for the delay. But some things were just beyond my control. I had trouble booking the photographer, and then Michael was sick for 3 weeks, so I couldn't include him in the photos. And the design team lost all the files, so I had to redo the pictures.
I'm not going to put this off any longer, Casey. I want those photos ASAP.
All right, so now that we've heard the dialogue 3 times and analyzed all the language, let's have a real conversation about this situation.
I have a question for you, David. Do you think Casey's reasons are legitimate? Are they good excuses, or is the boss right to be frustrated?
That's a really interesting question. I think Casey's reasons are legitimate.
the photographer being unavailable, a coworker being sick for 3 weeks, the design team losing files, these are all genuine obstacles.
I agree. None of those things were directly her fault. They were truly beyond her control.
However, and this is important, we have to consider whether Casey communicated these problems early enough.
Oh, great point. Maybe she should have told her boss about these issues 2 weeks ago instead of waiting until the deadline.
Exactly. That's actually a key lesson here. When you encounter problems that will affect a deadline, communicate immediately. Don't wait until the last minute.
So even though her reasons are valid, her timing might be the issue.
Right. Let me share a personal tip. If I'm working on a project and I hit an obstacle, I email my manager that same day or the next day to give them a heads up.
That's excellent advice. Early communication shows responsibility and gives everyone time to adjust plans.
Now, let's talk about the cultural aspect of excuses in English-speaking workplaces.
Oh, yes. This is so important because it varies from culture to culture.
In American and British work culture, there's a saying, "Don't bring me problems, bring me solutions."
That means when you explain what went wrong, you should also propose how to fix it. So if Casey were handling this perfectly, after explaining the problems, she should say something like, "I understand this is urgent. I've already rebooked the photographer for this Friday, and I can have the completed press kit to you by next Wednesday. Does that work?"
Brilliant. She's acknowledging the problem but focusing on the solution and giving a specific new timeline.
And one more thing, be honest but concise. You don't need to over-explain every detail. Give the key facts and move to the resolution.
And one more thing, avoid making the same excuse twice. If you ask for an extension and then miss that new deadline, your credibility is damaged significantly.
So true. If you commit to a new deadline, you need to meet it, even if it means working extra hours or asking for help.
Now, let's talk about some creative excuses. David, have you ever used a really outlandish excuse?
Not really. I'm pretty straightforward. But when I was in school, one of my classmates told the teacher that aliens had abducted him, so he couldn't finish his homework.
What? Did the teacher believe him?
Of course not. He got detention, but it's become a legendary story in our school.
I actually have a true story. When I was in high school, my cat literally ate my homework.
Oh, the classic excuse, but you're saying it really happened?
It really did. I had left my essay on the kitchen table and my cat jumped up and chewed the corners of every page. I brought the mangled papers to school and my teacher actually believed me because I was a good student.
That's amazing. So the lesson is, if you're generally reliable, people are more likely to believe you when something genuinely goes wrong.
Exactly. Your track record matters.
And that brings us back to our dialogue. We don't know Casey's history. If she's usually reliable, her boss might be more understanding. If she frequently misses deadlines, her boss will be skeptical.
Reputation is everything in professional settings.
All right, we're coming to the end of today's episode, but before we go, we want to hear from you.
Yes, we want to know, what's the most creative excuse you've ever heard or used? Leave a comment below this video.
And here's a challenge. Can you use one of the phrases we learned today in your own sentence? Write it in the comments. We read all of them.
If you found this lesson helpful, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the English Playbook. We release new episodes every week.
Next week, we're covering business email expressions. You won't want to miss it.
Until then, keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, communication is beyond just words. It's about building understanding.
Ooh, nice use of beyond there, Sarah.
I've been meaning to use that phrase.
Thanks for listening, everyone. See you next time on the English Playbook.